Monday. It's October 26th. It's Coding with Fire. I'm EJ.
And I'm Ian.
And tonight we're gonna keep on our election roll. It is election season. We got some cool stuff to show, new stuff to show you. I think we're gonna go over some old stuff that we've been doing in the previous streams. I see you already have the election unit chart up on your screen, Ian.
Right. This is pretty much where, what's on my screen is where we left off last night. So I think we had some ideas that we still wanted to try, but we were tired. It was the end of the night. Yeah. Yeah. So what we had, right, is you can kind of play back the 2016 election and watch the electoral college votes fill in. And I can share this in the chat for those who didn't see it yesterday.
This is the latest 5-3 voting data that it's like sorted by it now.
Yeah. So this big chart, it sorts them, basically in the middle, it's the most contentious, and then to the left and right. I'll pause it real quick. You can see like before any of the votes are really counted, I mean, there's a few votes counted, but like these states are sort of estimated to be much more likely to go Republican, or these go Democrat. And I guess we had made several iterations, like building on the design. We said we had to add circles, right? That was imperative.
Yeah, the circles are important.
Oh no! So hey, Blue Radon, thanks for
what's up,
joining.
everybody?
Glad you're
Thank
here.
you for bearing with us.
And Ben
Working
too.
with the mic issues. We were dealing with that before. That's kind of why we're a little bit late. Thank you for bearing with us. So I'm gonna try and make it work a little
EJ
better.
will.
I'm manning the dials.
Yeah.
This is an imprecise art.
Oh, someone said it's better.
All right. Well, keep me updated on how it's going, and thank you for your patience.
Yeah. Oh, that's something. Yeah, it's Blue Raven. Well, yeah. So welcome back, and we got circles, right? And then we
got
we
circles.
filled them in. We did some strokes, and then we came here. Yeah. So what did we wanted to? We won't like. I think we're gonna talk about some other stuff too. But like one of the ideas was, we got it this transitioning.
Yeah.
Right?
Which was kind of a pain.
That's pretty sweet.
It was a little bit more of a pain than I had anticipated to make a transition.
Right. But one thing that we could do is that this could also like these move actually, the way this is working, because this one's shuffled by, or it's sorted by electoral college votes.
So their position changes as well as the color, you're saying?
Yeah. I'm not sure how crazy that would look,
It would
but
look awesome.
it's potentially cool. So I think that would be, in terms of setting a goal for like one of our little segments here. That might be a good one.
I'm down for that. I'm definitely still itching to like finish it up after what we did last night. Like it was a good start, but you know what I mean? Like we got it looking really cool, but now I want to do that like last 10% to polish it up, I think.
Yeah. So that's cool. And then do you want to talk about what's on your screen?
Yeah, I mean, we can tease it a little bit. I don't want to go too deep into it, but we've been playing around with Mozilla Hubs, which is this tool that you can, I guess it's for, a lot of people are using it for like conferences and things where you can go, have people congregate online and talk and stuff. Are you still in this room? Yeah, so Ian's was in here and he's like, oh, this is his avatar. I have like a boxy avatar too, but we like sort of took our screenshots and spread them around, and this is sort of what we were doing on the stream yesterday, but just going through the folder. But there's something kind of cool and special about the idea of like, arranging them by topic area, or like I like what you did here where there's like a bunch of different maps that we made for the Eves piece that like you can sort of see the evolution of them. Or like actually I put the COVID maps up here like in order of the months. So it goes from like April to May to all the way to August, and you can sort of see it start in the Northeast and then, move to the south into the, more rural southern areas. Like you can see that just in this small multiples on the wall. which I don't know. I thought that was cool. So I think we'll play around with like,
That's
you know,
yeah.
using this as we're I don't know. We were having a conversation last night about like our inspiration for TV shows, and like I always really like MythBusters. And there's certain scenes in MythBusters, like in the beginning, where they like present the problem, where they're like not in the workshop yet. They're like sort of they're like they're in that weird space where they have the big blueprint and they're surrounded by all their old projects and stuff. And so the idea of trying to recreate that sort of space or that kind of energy in this show is sort of what made me want to explore this more. But hopefully we can play around with that later. Maybe we can throw some screenshots in, or maybe one day potentially have guests. The space that we're in now, I threw together using Mozilla's like space creating tool, and in an app. I actually lost it. I lost a few versions because it crashed on me a few times, but like I tried to make a little space where we could have guests or do little presentations, or I made the chairs too small, so like it's like if you had like a child-sized audience, I gotta fix this. If you had a child-sized audience, you could have them sit here. But anyway, that's sort of the rough idea, and I like seeing all of your screen, like the emoji screenshots are really cool. Like it's cool to just see all the stuff all around, and it's better than it just like sitting in a folder in a hard drive. But we'll have to see how well, Hubs can maintain. I mean, we can't just load this place down with images. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at some point we want to fill it up with like screencasts or screen share, right? And like you can stream from
Yeah.
within
Oh
it.
yeah. Do you have that
So we'll
notebook?
see what
What
it
was
can.
the one we were looking at where we want to make the room plan of it?
Oh, yeah. Let me search
Because
for
Mozilla
it and
Hubs,
pull
like
it
the
up.
way, like it lets you import 3D objects and stuff like that. But I think you could theoretically export your data viz, like your tree map, out as a 3D object, and then we could inhabit it in this like 3D space, and like you can also like you can draw things. You know what I mean? Like if I really liked one of your how do one of your particular screenshots, I could like point to it and draw around it. Let me see.
Oh, right,
I like
right.
that. Oops. I really like this one. Oh, this
I think I'm also, while we're here,
doesn't
I'm
work
just
all
gonna
that
like
great.
look at what you're doing.
Oh yeah, don't look at my map. Well, no. What happened to that tree map you were gonna
So
pull
this
up?
be, oh yeah, I have it. Um, but since you were
Oh
showing
yeah.
this, moving this around. Yeah, like your idea when I showed, I think it's like an in-process screenshot of this because it's not like I haven't quite figured out the finish it of it. Um, but it's like each of these is a D3
Hey Ian,
module, and then
take
within
a
the mod,
screenshot of it and
yeah,
then drop it into our virtual space, and then we can talk about it in our VR space.
like that.
Sorry to be
Um,
difficult.
no, you're good. And then
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
put it on this
Yeah.
pillar.
Can you make it a little bigger?
Yeah, how do I
If
do
you hold
that actually?
spacebar over it,
Zoom?
you can. Maybe I can do it. Yeah, there you go.
Um, that's cool. Oh, you're making
Yeah,
it
there we
big.
go.
Nice. That's really
Yeah,
big.
so I mean, I've been enjoying making things really big, actually. Oh, but I can't pin it. You have to pin it because it's your image, I guess.
Okay.
Cool. So this to me looks like a floor plan of like a building. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like that. If this was like an actual a map of this space, is what you were saying, like of a building, almost like a museum. Because one of the cool things about this data set is that it's what generates or is generated from it what generates the README of each of the modules. So like if there's a link to an example of like D3 geo projection or whatever, um, it's going to be in here. So if you went into one of these rooms, you could imagine that screenshots of all the examples would be like loaded on the walls and stuff,
Yeah, because
right?
like
Like,
these are like the
so
hallways,
you're,
right? Like you could sort of like walk down, and then you could be like, oh, let me go into the D3Es room, and you could like go and see a bunch of different D3Es examples on the wall, right? and then like
Uh-huh.
keep going down the hall and be like, oh, I want to go to the D3 shape room. Like, oh, it's bigger. There's like a lot more examples on the wall, or right? Is that weird?
Yeah, yeah. That is interesting. And I wonder, now that you're saying that, like I wonder if because this is generated from a D3, right, tree map, like it's the code's all there, it's custom. So you could even if you because I think like hallways would you'd want to be proportionally a little bigger, right? And then
Right.
what is the space inside rooms? Because like the rooms are colored by these categories, which I think, Mike basically came up with when he was organizing the modules. And so several modules may have like distinct things that they do, but they're in the like data. This is like all the data functions, right? Like, um, so this would be like a bigger exhibition or something. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we're talking about data. I guess I could be drawing
Sorry, I'm
to
just experimenting with what's possible with this weird virtual space that we can inhabit.
when, how do I change shift and scroll to change the pen size?
So a few things we could do is like
I changed it.
we could finish up our election stuff. I am really interested in like forking this notebook and maybe trying to get trying to get a 3D object out of this that we can like inhabit for next episode. You know what I mean? Even it's just like
Hmm.
somehow like making the rooms blue. You know what I mean? And extruding the sides up and making some hallways, I guess. Because if you make it like relatively like normal size, I can just scale it up in this like Mozilla Hubs generator thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I had it at one point also like the individual.
Oh, they're all like separated. That's wild. That's not a very cool room. That's like a labyrinth.
Well, yeah, it's like I guess if you this would be spacing out all the methods evenly in the room, which
Yeah, where do you?
isn't
Blue
quite.
Rayon says, "Where do you go?"
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that could be a fun activity, absolutely, to this. And would it be like a dungeon map? No, it's just a museum floor
Just yeah, the
plan.
Museum of D3 is kind of fun.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and do that.
Dope. So you're gonna fork that notebook. But that seems like the dessert at the end that we will earn by finishing up our the protein of elections visualization.
I think, yeah, so we got to eat our vegetables, um, which is, I mean, it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to
Yeah,
be
it's gonna be
interesting.
dope. Vegetables are good too.
And then, I mean, like you said, if we have circles and we can make them dance,
Yeah,
like
I'm a happy man.
that's a
Yeah,
good time.
exactly.
Um,
So how
nice.
we I very much wish that I could have just done that two lines of CSS. You know what I mean, and had everything transition. But to make the circles dance in the way that we want, we just need to add the positioning translation to the enter and exit. Basically, is the missing step.
Um, yeah, well, we basically need to do this, what we did here, where they don't move in this
Right.
visualization, but we made it
So they're
updatable and
organized by leaning, and then
um,
as the election happens, it like doesn't matter whether they were called or not. They're still always organized by leaning. But you made another version where they
yeah,
reorganize by leaning. Like the called ones are always on the edges, no matter what their leaning is.
exactly. So that's um, what we could do in this one is add the transitions to make because this one you'll see actually let me I'll move it up so we can see it. I gotta move it above this while we're working on it. Um, Let me just as these reshift as the states get called. Like if you see California wasn't called, so California's over
Right.
here. It's kind of hard to see right now. But then when they're called, they're over here. And I think, we might update the look
You
of
know what
this
my
a little bit
first
too, right? I
instinct
think
was?
using,
Was to put them in a goddamn force
uh-huh.
layout and then have them always try to be in the position. Oh, let me turn my headphones down. I'll see if that might be what the issue is.
How's that? Yeah, so the audio.
Yeah,
Hopefully I don't have
pardon our
echo.
audio issues. But you were saying there's one that reorders them and one that doesn't.
Right, so this visualization is updating instantly, but things get reordered. So if we could get it to transition like we did this one, um, I think that would be a win. And it would look
Yeah, it shouldn't
interesting
take too long.
to some extent.
Famous last words, but
Yeah. I mean, given, I think because we did a lot of the hard figuring out last night, we can sort of take that and recap it and not have to struggle as much today with it.
knock on wood. Again, famous last words. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a little bit of a pain, but today should be a breeze. We'll be fine. All right, let's get started.
Well, when something that fresh in your memory, we'll see. All right, and then I'm going to publish this and share this link in the chat, right? Since this is what we're working
Yeah,
on.
the transitions do make it look
Um,
dope.
yeah, I think this is going to be either way too much or really cool. So
I'm gonna make the
let's see
duration
what
longer
happens.
too.
I
Is
think
it
that's a
time to
nice
fork
call,
this
especially when
notebook
we're.
in, or are we just gonna gang out on the super
Yeah,
notebook?
I mean, so that's a valid point before I jump in, right? Like, look at all these
Yeah. Thank
versions
you, Ian.
of the
I
same thing.
appreciate that.
We could, I do think we could have been forking to make each
No, it's
one,
so
and that
cool
would
to
have
look
been
at them.
interesting.
This is very cool. I just think this is the maximum. It's like the maximum a human in a notebook can contain.
Well, it's also, I think, that's something else I have to think about, and maybe we can talk about it, and if folks have ideas in the chat too. Like, we want to kind of um, frame this notebook somehow, so when you come to it, it's not just like boom, here's a wall of like craziness that
Says
right? It's
who?
like what's going on here. I mean, I kind of do want the boom. Here's the
Yeah, no, it's kind
craziness,
of
and
rad.
then you go down. You're like, what's going on here? Okay, let me see. Let me read about it, and we talk. We can
You
talk
could
about
maybe
techniques and
frame
about
it
data
of be
sets.
like this is an election and everything is a vote, and then sort of I see. Okay, no, I agree. There's a little room for some framing and some introduction that can.
Right, like a couple, like two sentences here, because immediate, and then probably like the first thing, this is going to fill your screen. Then you could have some explanation, and then this stuff would
Oh,
be
bro, you just
like
add titles for
how we
them. You
got
just gotta
there.
name each of them, and then you're set.
Yeah, yeah, and then we're talking also about like putting together like how we built this, like a companion notebook. So that's also where the forking kind of comes in of like, we mentioned it yesterday. We scrolled down here, and it just like keeps going, right? It's like so many things. So explaining, there's kind of what if we had this notebook we even include one of the notebooks with force
Yeah, you
layouts,
go
which
buck wild. This
right
is like the
is all,
longest notebook I've ever seen. Also,
yeah,
I just want
right.
to point out the
So
chat agrees with me.
it
I don't want to
shouldn't.
let this moment pass where the words "I agree with EJ" appear in the chat. So let's just put that. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, so absolutely, I think when things start getting too long, split them up, right? Make more notebooks, so we can like pull out the like the explanation, the how it's built, or like if you kind of want to be able to recreate it, you can obviously look at the code, but like all the data stuff that goes into that like could be its own notebook where
Yeah, well, it's like
that's
one's the behind the scenes notebook and one's the presentation notebook, right? Like that's kind of a pattern we've been finding a
yeah,
lot lately.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's that's something that will happen. So I think yeah, on our segment here on live, it'll be really fun to get the visualization updated the way
Yeah.
with the idea we
Let's
had.
get them circles dancing.
Try out some other stuff, right? And then we'll have
Well,
that
then you
to
can just
like
fork it
rearrange
and pull that
offline,
out
and we
and
can
build on that part, right?
yeah, yeah. And then that'll give us time to get to our dessert, which I do
I already
think will be
forgot.
really
What's our
fun.
dessert again?
The Museum of
Oh,
D3's floor
goddamn. Yeah,
plan.
no,
So
that
like
shit's gonna be
turning
dope.
D3.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we get into it. Um, I mean, the first thing is the way that the transition works is that we're using D3 to create all these circles and the text and color them according to like, whether or not, for instance, the vote had been counted that day. And and we're also positioning them with code using this like X and Y thing, which I kind of gloss over the math part, but it's how you can make a grid. Oh, hello from Brazil.
What's up,
Welcome.
Brazil? I
Yeah.
very much encourage people to tell me how to pronounce their names when they first join. So I'm gonna go with Merle Maya, MRL Maya. Let me know how I did.
Yeah, Hello Nithis. Yeah, different display. We have text same with there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, the chat agrees with me. Blue Radon I got. Murillo. That's not what Alright, sorry. Yes, Murillo. Murillo
Yeah,
Maya. Oh, got it. Okay, that makes more sense.
cool, cool. Welcome, welcome.
So let
All
me
right,
ask you a
so
question.
yeah,
Where in this cell does any animation happen?
this cell does not have any animation right now. This one, it basically recalculates when the data changes. It redoes
But how does it fade?
everything.
Oh, this
Oh,
isn't the
no,
fading one?
yeah, the fading one's the second one. So I closed the fading one. So now what we want to do is do what we did for the fading one. So I'm gonna open
Again?
it up.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering. Okay, so somewhere in here there is animation.
In the second one, there's animation, yes. So we're gonna want this same setup basically, which
Oh, I found it.
essentially
It's when you do
copy
transition
paste.
duration in this
Yeah.
cell. So if we just do that again for, well, right now it's fill and stroke, and now if you just do it for translation, is that what you just said?
Um, More or less, I think yeah, it's pretty much all just copy pasting at this point.
That's cool.
So I'm just gonna do that and then get rid of the
And the idea is that
report.
they'll sort of resort and reorder. Can we add easing? How do you add easing in this way of doing things?
Um, oh, but this is using the wrong data set. Where's the data set?
I'll find out myself.
Units. So you can send the ease parameter um, to D3's transition.
Cool.
So I don't think this is updating the position. Also, it's confusing with the coloring like that. So
Well, they're not. I bet you money they're not keyed.
yeah, and you bring up a very important point. So
Should have bet that money.
we want, I think there's like a UI. It's like a,
Oh yeah, is that what their unique? Is that what UI stands for? Is it unique ID?
yeah, and it was just a number I incremented as I like generated the, um,
What a good chat. I love having a chat.
Yes,
This is cool.
they're
This is like when we used to
very
hang out
supportive.
and it wasn't on live stream, and I just this is just what was happening in my head.
Um, so we should be passing in UI for each of these. So, but I think that they should be reordering, but we're not
But they're
updating the
but
position.
but yeah, I bet they don't know to like they just whatever one is in that position becomes that one. You know what I mean? They don't have to actually translate because they're not keyed.
Oh, but we're not updating the text either.
Oh,
So that's you're right. It's actually not the UI that we want to key on. We want to key on something else. So let's look at the data real quick. So it's units 2016,
maybe it's like
right?
state abbreviation plus UI or something like that. State.
Yeah, there's like yeah, we can use the state postal and I think.
Doesn't Lodash have a
So
function to give you a unique ID if you give it an object or something for lazy people?
um it may.
Okay.
But I mean, I think that for this, it's simple. Yeah, like I know because we generate it, like the I increments for every state. It's like the I vote. So the state will be unique, and the index for that vote will be
All right,
unique.
so
And then
state
like the way they
postal
move.
plus I is our key.
Yes, and so exactly. Um, state
I don't know how to key things in this.
postal. So it's in the data
Oh, it's the second
I pass
function you
in.
pass it?
Yeah, like first you pass it the array, and then
You're
you
saying
pass it
like
how
this
you
is the
want it to.
function to get a key out of a data.
Yeah, because I want to uniquely lay out, or I want to make sure that if I change something about the CA one circle, it moves to where it's supposed to go.
And then I'm gonna decide which ease I think is my favorite. I'm
Yes,
feeling
and then we just need to.
I'm feeling ease sign right now. Or maybe an ease cubic. I could go either way.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's good stuff, dude. Yeah. The people love it. That's what they want. Give Blue Radon some ease quad.
I like part of it is confusing is because the colors do not seem to be all updating properly, and so it's slicing it up weirdly. Nice. Publish this though, because this is already fun. The other thing I was thinking of doing is like delaying each vote by like a small amount. Yeah, I gotta fix it. The color transitions.
I
So
added my ease, I think. Or I broke everything. One or the
nice.
other.
I think, yeah, your ease seems to be working. Let me see where you added it to. Yeah, you added ease quad. Yeah, nice.
Oh, but not for all of them. I only did it for the G. I need to do it for the. Oh, that's just for the fill and the stroke, though. Maybe I'll do D3 ease sign for that one, just to keep it funky. Ease. Oh, in out. Ooh, fancy, fancy.
All right, I gotta make it so that they start in the right place, though. I can't handle that. And
Hey,
then
Ian, do you got any Google
the
AIs handy in
color.
your apartment? No real reason.
Yeah. Oh no, I do not,
Okay.
but I really should.
Yeah.
I think that'd be essential for
We'll work on that.
future activities with my 2-year-old as
That's
well.
why. That's legit why I asked. Like I like normally I wouldn't ask a person that question, but you seem like a candidate like who might actually do it. Yeah. So what's up with the colors right now? They're kind of little. Don't really want to change.
Yeah, so I think let's see, we're transitioning the circle.
Do you want to make the color ease half the length of the other one? I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking about like changing it so that the color doesn't keep changing. So we set it, um, this should be like light gray.
Whoa.
So the position, also we should have it do the position on the thing when it gets created. So no longer, it seems like the color transition is happening after. Oh, this is why I set it here. So I need to say gs.transition. So the circle and the circle color things were happening after the positions moved. Mm-hmm. So that's like part
So like canceled them out.
No, it's just like one happened and then the other.
Ooh, so this seems to make a lot more sense. This seems a lot better.
Yeah, so already it's like less.
Oh, this is fun.
The thing I didn't expect, and this is why, but I did hedge my bets and say it might be crazy, is that when you move even just a few things, like a whole row of stuff moves up.
I have notes on how it reorders, because when it gets pushed in, it should only get pushed in as far as it should be at the end. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when it adds new ones, it like pushes it all the way to the back. Like when Ohio gets added to Republican, it like pushes it all the way inside, where it should just like get pushed and right to the edge of the other filled ones and then stop. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
But I don't know. I guess it's like how called they are is their X value. How recently they were called is how you sort by X once they've been called.
Yeah. So you want the original.
Because that's what's so weird is when like Ohio, because it makes everything reorder when you pull it so far back. You know what I mean? Oh, bro, we need like a next and a previous button in this. Can you do that with scrubbers or what?
Probably should be able to do that.
Let me look at the scrubber docs for a second.
You can use the left arrow key, I think.
You can use. Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's moving whole blocks. The color is also bothering me.
You can't do it, but this Jonathan Helfman has a notebook where he describes exactly how I want it to work, and that it does not do that. Shout outs to Jonathan Helfman.
Nice. Okay, this is already a little bit less weird with the leaning colors taken away. I mean, it's still a pretty awkward shift. I suppose one thing that could help is if it didn't, what if it like didn't transition the ones that are undecided? So it's only transitioning the ones that are getting our new.
Before we do that, can we add a delay based on their eye, like the olden days?
Yes, I really want to do that.
Woohoo!
All right, so we'll do it on the position, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so they like do some shit. They like swoop around, dancing circles. It's the name of the game.
I think that's gonna be okay. Oops, I guess you don't have to return.
Yeah, that's what the yes. That's so good.
Something's off about it,
Don't say
but
that. It's so beautiful.
oh, I think that's really fun.
It's so great. Yeah, we can speed it up a little bit. I think it's like 1900 right
Well,
now.
the other thing, the problem is I need to subtract from the duration, or like the delay I'm doing, right, is 10 milliseconds for each one, but it
Right.
means that the last transition is like taking too long. Um, so I think what we need to
Oh,
do is,
yeah, make it like 75% of what the
well,
transition is or whatever.
I think we can even do this. We can do duration minus I times 10. So this would be, um, so if it's at the end, it's going to be faster. Whoa, no.
No, too much. Too much, buddy.
What is duration set to?
I turned it down to like 1200 or something like that, I think. Yeah, it's
Oh,
1200 right now.
I don't want this. So where's my delay?
You don't like it?
Oh no, I do like it. But I'm wondering why it's not like it's doing something funky. So let's see if I go like what's up with this weird flashing?
It makes it look like you know the train billboards in Grand Central where like the letters flash when the train times update. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, but my delay.
Actually, shit. Hold on. That reminds me of the favorite feature, my favorite feature I ever added to the NBC big board. All right, check this out. Yeah, so right in before the midterms, we were redoing the big board in View for NBC and MSNBC, and I was going through all the old like archive NBC footage, and they had during the Nixon Kennedy race, they had that same thing, these like mechanical boards where it like flipped up. Like if you got 36 votes and it was at 31, it would like quickly be like 32, 33, 34, and like flip its way up. So I don't know if there's an animation of it, but on the big board now, when we get new votes in, it does the same thing where it doesn't just swipe in the new value, it like ticks up to the new value and like shows every in between. Like the
Nice.
more it went up, like the more it ticks. So like that's one of I'm super proud of that feature, even though nobody will ever notice it. But this reminds me of that.
Nice. Yeah, that's fun. So, but there's still something something's a little bit off with the way the transition is either happening or getting coordinated, or I'm
There's
confused
definitely
about the
something strange
duration.
happening. I don't disagree with that.
I think maybe now that if I'm trying to, let me comment those out.
I think it's because they're. Don't you need to add a floor to your like I times whatever, so it isn't like less than zero?
Somehow the delay is affecting the color too, which I don't want to do.
So where's the delay? God
Yeah.
damn it! I wish there were line numbers.
The delay is on this one where I transition, I do
Yeah, you do
delay here.
I
So I turn
times
off this
10.
delay.
Can you max it? Give me just entertain a guy and just like max the delay at like 100 or some shit.
Max the delay at
Or
100.
something, you know what I mean? And
Well, I think what I didn't expect to happen is that the transitions I'm doing on the text and the circle, they seem to be getting delayed, but I don't want to do that. So I wonder if I set them off first. Um, and do this back. And then set this one off. Let me see if that will work first. Um, and I want this. Okay, so that seems to be how it was. Some things are immediately like flashing white, and then I guess the color thing is half the duration.
yeah, should I maybe not do
That's
that?
weird. They shouldn't be flashing that way, I
I'm
don't
gonna do
think.
like 75.
So now if we introduce the delay again, let's see what happens.
It's so weird.
It's like every time it's updating it's going through and updating everything's. Oh, did I do DI? It should be D dot I. Let me see what I did. Where's my transition? Delay. It should be D dot I. That's probably can make a big difference. So this I only wanted to do it for each vote within a state. Move this back up here. And we'll figure out the color.
Mm. Hell on Earth has just dropped this link to. Have you seen these like mirror displays where like they have a camera that flips these like physical pixels to represent what the camera sees?
Oh, I love those. I
Yeah,
love
it's
those. Yeah.
super sick.
So instead of moving, what if they flipped like pixels into a different state?
We can't even do this properly. We can.
Well, part of it, the reason is that it doesn't quite, yeah, behave the way we thought it would. But this could also be more, I think, if we make this more pronounced. Or you'd even do something where the delay gets smaller over time. It's like a little bit more.
I gotta make the loop delayed.
This should actually be like an easing curve, I think. Um,
It's pretty cool though. Yeah, it does. Like it shows like flipped states. Like yeah, you just saw Virginia go from the right to the left. Oh, bro, can you delay them based on the state? You know what I mean? So that like each state is delayed instead of each, or like you know what I mean? Like so the delay is aware of the state a little bit more. If that makes sense.
yeah. So I guess it's how would you want that? So like if it's because not every time does it every state move.
Right.
It's a peculiar dance. But one thing I want to try is to exaggerate. God, I really want to hide some of this code. I keep having to scroll past. Um, this thing here, we'll say vote play.
So how on earth is asked like if an outline would help show flipped states, which is an interesting idea of like adding some way of like showing whether they had moved from the right to the left, which I like. I think we'll keep that idea. Maybe come back to that of like giving them a different stroke or like coloring the text or like yeah some indicator
Mm,
that they moved from differently
yeah,
from where we expected them.
that's true. Although
Okay,
currently,
sorry, I can verbalize what I was imagining before. Is that like, say that three states flip. If Georgia and California and Florida flip, I want like all of Georgia's votes to go bop 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 bop, and then all of California's votes to go bop 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 bop, and then all of Florida's votes to go bop 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 bop. So like I want the sequence the states out, and then within them sequence the electoral votes out. Like delay the states, like add a state delay on top of our current delay.
mm, yeah, that makes sense. The thing that it's also occurring to me, I'm wondering about is the the ordering that we're doing right now is really arbitrary. It's just like how many electoral college votes they have. So we really should be starting them off in like the um, the order of the leaning, right?
Oh, I thought they did.
No, that's what we did later. That's what the second one does essentially. Which I'm going to hide its code because we're not using it right now.
Interesting. Oh yeah, because it is sort of in like
So
no, it's like an alphabetical order to start. I feel like
it's I no it's
because
well
it
it could
starts with
be.
Alabama and it ends with Wyoming. I'm no expert or anything, but when I see that traditionally, that means the states are ordered alphabetically.
Fair enough. Units 2016, I think, is what we're using. So, yeah, these are actually not sorted. So these should be sorted the same way as this one we did. I'm going to delete all this confusing code because we sort by that.
Love to hear it. Whoa.
Oh, and so now already it's going to be less dramatic because things are starting off in roughly the order
Oh, sick.
that is predicted.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think the next step is I'm also sorting internally by like once, right, California moves to the front because of its vote count. So inside the parties it's sorted by vote count and outside it's sorted by leaning. What I could do is sort it internally, also sorted by leaning, which would then keep it. It should almost end up arranged. Well, let's see what happens. Did any of what I said make sense?
Yeah, I wasn't totally
Let's
following,
publish
but
this.
I believed it you.
Um, all right. Yeah, let me pull up the code. So, but yeah, there's the unknown circle, this votes. There's the Democrat and Republican pledge, right? Like at any given moment in time, we have those three kinds of things. And so Units 26 leaning was the one we did where they just stay still. Let me move up this code because it's kind of foundational.
I'm gonna grab a
All
drink
right,
real quick.
so yes. Okay. I'm going to then, while it does that, look at this. This is our unknown. Where do I sort it? I thought I just added this. Oh yeah, unknowns is here. That's right. Okay, once each of these groups is, because these are the states, and each state has like the number of votes. Then we have to generate an object per vote, and that's how we end up with this units array. So the sorting order of the unknown, the Dems, Republics, unknown, and we should actually, what I'm going to do is move the sort here, and for this is just going to be the what's generated.
Oh, cool.
Like,
So
you
you literally
generate.
just have 3 different sorting functions, so that depending on which bucket they fall in, you can sort them different ways.
Yeah, and then like the order that those states are sorted in, right, means the order that the votes get put. So if I did lean scale here instead, I think, well, just nothing. No, it
That did something.
should still be different. Let's see. All right, so I start from here. Yeah, I guess even if certain things are lean heavily one way, they may not get called early in the race,
Correct.
right? So there's still some variety in terms of like stuff moving over.
What's with that white refilling? Is that just like the spaces? Like they like
Yeah,
flash?
we're doing something. You're right. We're doing something weird with. Oh, it can't be state postal. It has to be state name, I think, because those ones are the weird states that have like Northeast 2 or Nebraska 2, 3, 4.
Oh, shoutouts.
So, yeah, good call. So when I say it's in the key function.
By the way, tonight I'm rocking Captain Eli's Strawberry Pop. And if you like soda things, I recommend it. It's from Portland, Maine. It's like got a not disgustingly sweet strawberry flavor to it. I don't know if you're a soda guy or not.
I'm known to indulge on occasion. All right, sorry, it's not the name. There's something else.
Are you still trying to make a key? We
Yeah,
spent like 33% of this episode trying to make a key.
state keys are important,
But do
man.
you remember
Key
that
the whole thing.
time way back in the beginning when I was like, isn't there a way to make a function out of an object? Like, because they're all unique objects. Just fucking MD5 the object or whatever. They're all different.
I think this will do it.
Alright.
No. Those somehow are not it. Yeah, it's okay. It's something that like can be filled in later. I do want to show. I usually also do a thing where I really should, I'm just gonna do it right now. So this is like a typical D3 thing to do, is like when I make the things, I'm gonna create an on handler for clicking.
What?
So, ah, so that one. Oh, it's the event. God. Okay, D3 changed this very slightly, ever so slightly. And then you say it's actually event and then the data. So this Nebraska thing, it's just always Nebraska. I never recorded the fact. So they're not. Yeah, it's because I need to do something like states. Um, Even the Lodash thing wouldn't save me here.
All right.
That's what I'm
That's
gonna
what
tell
that's what I
you,
was
which
looking
is
at.
that it's the states I'm going through are, well, it's states. Let's look at states. So that there's it's weird because there's 56, right? So then you have this ME1, ME2. So it's dot state. So that should actually be unique. Um, D dot. So the state should be weird. So I should be able to say Unis 2016 dot filter. There's a hyphen in it.
What are you doing?
It's
Is this because of the star states?
these ME and
Maine and
ME,
Nebraska?
Maine
It's
and
they're
Nebraska.
split electoral college votes? You mean it's ruining our election life? Like every elections developer ever?
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to reality. But my key, that shouldn't, now that that's unique, so they shouldn't be creating every time. So I don't know what the deal is. Actually, I wonder if I refresh the page. Shouldn't matter. So,
You do have this heavy ass notebook, bro.
yeah. I think it's, wait, is it just working now? Oh no, it is. Well, for some reason it's these two Texas ones also. What are these?
What's going on with you, Texas? Oh, I see. You made it so when you click on them, it logs out their data, so you can figure out why they're weird.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, their eye is different. Let's
What did you
see.
just say?
Not like that.
I was making
I
a
can't
dad
tell
joke. I don't know
immediately
why I did it.
what's. Yeah, I might need to sleep on this one. Yeah, it's funny. You can see them just like not move or disappear. It disappeared and reappeared here. So there's just those three.
I think it looked great. I already tweeted out a video.
Nice.
What now?
Well, to be honest, I feel like this is pretty good. Well, the only other thing I wanted to try real quick, honestly, let me try one more thing, and then we could take a break, come back,
All right, what is it?
have our dessert.
What's the thing?
It is to ease them so that the states move, like the votes in a state move more dramatically. Um, I guess the delay, I want the delay to be change, like what's changed dramatically. So it's I over D dot votes, I think. Well, first of all, what does that do? So it doesn't delay them much at all. but I can make vote delay be 500. Now,
Ooh, that's weird.
oh, so now the color, I think part of it is that the color is not happening on the delay like I thought.
Yeah, you're right. The color happens to all of them at the same time, I think.
Or it just yeah, exactly. So I could either redo the delay function or um, we could also, I think if we do this, the color, we don't want, no, I think I can do this.
I think you can do it too, for the record.
I'm gonna pass in that transition, see if that works. Yes, I think that did work. See how the colors
Yeah,
change
it's a little
on the ones
fast
that are
though. Is it
flipped?
because it's still like 75% for the color?
No, I commented that out for now.
No, you're going backwards in time. That's trippy.
Well, I think part of it is that as they get, so it delays them some amount, but it's also shortening
Ian,
the
I'm
ones that
sorry.
get most
I just had a
delayed.
brainwave. You
Mhm.
know what would solve all of your problems
What's
is
that?
if you put this in a force layout and just change the place where they want to be and let the force handle
Well,
all this.
yeah, I mean we did something like that. I like that this way I want it to like move through each other and stuff, right? Like
Right. Yeah. This is a
the
cool.
fourth,
It's a
like
different effect than you would get with that for sure.
but as we've seen, it's like pretty tricky to choreograph, right? Like the sorting and the layout and like how it moves. We got it like from being like really confusing to being like, okay, this kind of, mostly makes sense to now, I guess, like I have like sort of specific things in mind for how I want it to move like a little better. Um,
So another idea of
and
wait,
part
like
of it,
we could
yeah.
also this is we could also take data that we have on how people predict this election will go. Like there's a bunch of different scenarios and outcomes that people have made of like if this state goes this way or that state goes that way. We could show transition between different scenarios like here's what a Biden landslide looks like and then transition into like a rehash of 2016. Here's what that looks like I think NBC has it on their site where you can see different scenarios.
Oh, that's a trip because then instead of comparing over time, you're watching the states flip.
Yeah, exactly. So like in NBC, like they have like Chuck Todd's
Yeah.
Biden path, which is 341 to 197, and then they have a different Kornacki scenario, which is 261 to 205, or GOP landslide, which is 354 to 184. I mean, so like they sort of transition between the map and the top bar between these different types of scenarios. And then
Yeah,
you can choose,
so
you
my
can flip
colleague
them.
Carrie, I think we showed this yesterday too, right? But
Yeah.
like
Also,
you could
shout outs to
essentially
Anna Brand,
transition
Robin, Kara, Jeremiah, Nigel, and Joe at NBC who made this awesome thing.
oh, nice.
Sorry, what were we saying? Oh, you're. Yeah, this thing we looked at last night. I love this.
Yeah, oh, I think it's only your screen still though.
I just changed it.
Um, okay, got it. Nice. I got a delay. So, yeah, we looked at this last night, but this is basically showing you all the scenarios given, sort of a certain sort where Florida's either won or lost, and then you can go down the chain, right? And essentially, if these certain battleground states get called, that's enough to know how it's going to turn out,
Exactly.
right? And there's more complex scenarios, of course. Um, so yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, like this basically replacing this with a transitioning thing. Although
Oh, you're so
when you,
smart. Ian, you're so smart. That's exactly what we should do. You should fork this, replace this little thing she has at the top for the thing we just made, call it a day.
I think that's a good call. All right, so
Word.
all right,
Have a good night. Thanks for
nice,
hanging out,
good luck.
man.
Yeah, for sure. Share what you make
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you
Definitely
can,
tweet
of
at us
course.
whatever you make.
Yeah. Um, all right. So, all right, cool. Last last stop here. And just to look.
So
So this
this
is
is
gonna
cool because
take.
personally, I've done the process of forking a notebook and modifying it, but I like the idea of like I have two notebooks that are each a piece of the puzzle, and now I want to combine them.
Yes. What would be also interesting is if we imported, instead of forking this one, like, oh, just throwing this out there and we can decide if it's a good idea or not. Um, we create a new notebook and we import this visualization and we import this visualization, or the code for this, and then take the numbers that come out of this, which is what drives this thing, and make our own, basically matching them
Yeah.
together, right? I guess there's forking this and just dropping ours into it could also be,
No, no, I want to do what you just
um,
said.
yeah, where it's like we're pulling pieces and putting them together. Because then the other thing is the scenarios that you talk about, that you showed on the website, on NBC's website,
Right.
right? Like each of those could correspond. You could, because I think this input has that kind of filtering, right? So then it's like the ones that you take as like known things, like Karnaki's prediction or so and so's, right?
Right.
Like you could leaf through those and have because I think you can make this transition and you can make this transition. Or if this doesn't,
I
that's
was
fine
thinking
too.
of like
Like
trying to extract like a JSON representation of the different scenarios from the NBC page because I bet it's in there somewhere. Or I mean, I could just copy them by hand too, right? Of like these states go in this
if it's
direction.
just gonna be a couple of them,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so let's do that.
Slice and
We're
dice,
just
son.
gonna,
What's the cooking metaphor for this
yeah,
action? This reminds me. This is like a sort of like. This reminds me of like the chili on fries of. You know what I mean? Like we have one good thing, and we have another good thing, just like kind of around, and like why not just put them together, right?
yeah. Um, so this is election visualization chili. Is it two
Chili
L's?
fries. One L.
Chili fries. Okay. So we're gonna want to import from here one thing, and I believe we're going to have to say, well, we'll just figure it out. Radial tree from this,
We'll do it live.
and if we say radial, well, I'll do it below here. I think it's got to be view of, and view of. You have
Ooh.
this, and then if you
Wowie.
say
Wowie
radial
weewa.
tree,
You watched the new Borat movie yet, Ian?
no, I haven't.
Alright. You should probably check it out.
Okay. So yeah, when you hover over one of these, it outputs, I guess, an array of
That's awesome.
the ordered prediction. So we got to figure out how to turn that
Yeah,
array
into
the
electoral
way Carrie
votes.
did. Yes. Um, and I think part of that So I guess there's she's calculating some things, but one thing I want to do is I want to be able to like, can I click that?
You can't
No.
really lock it, huh?
Yeah, maybe I can get select states, or does this?
Yeah, if you hit one of those, doesn't it lock it?
Okay. Um, so this is also the format we could use to manually specify one. So it does lock it.
Weird.
So I think if we said select states, code that. I have to do the weird. That's really gonna.
Tell it to format it for you. It's a
How do I
robot,
do
and
that?
you're a human. I don't know.
I know. I should. Actually, I think I can do this. And I want.
Oh, nice. Like a real hacker. Great work.
So yeah, selected states. Let's say is equal to that. And so let's say we do that. It didn't quite. Oh, I think we want. I'm gonna comment that out. And we want with states as next. So we're gonna overwrite.
Oh, that it looks like that worked, huh?
Yeah. The mouse out here is bugging me out. That's it. I'll do this too. So that's kind of wild. There's a lot of truncated lines.
Yeah, why does it have so many children?
Is it giving me the every node? I thought it should just giving me like the 4 nodes. Oh. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on here.
So we're just trying
This
to
is
give it
like
like an
the
active state, basically.
yeah. Well, what I really want to be able to work with right now is the selected state, like the hovered state, is kind of um, the idea. So, because that's what I want to be able to use to calculate essentially over here, those units, right, are
Right.
based on the 2016 or election results at that given point in
Well, how
time.
about this? Let's pull this. Let's pull this thing into the other notebook, and then we can come back to trying to combine them again.
Sorry, this thing into this notebook.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
because
Or pull this
yeah, you
thing
already got the
in there.
radial chart, which is like which is the fries, right? Let's put it. Let's put our. I agree, our fries are lacking, but maybe if you just put chili next to them, I don't know. Let's put them together,
I
and,
see what you're
and then
saying.
and then we can figure out how to make them better.
That's a good. I'm gonna say unit chart. Um,
All right.
Okay.
So,
Oh, it doesn't have the font. We need to
oh
like,
boy, I'll take care of that part. How do you get the active? Okay, so same problem. How do you get an active state of this thing in our new notebook?
right. So it's not the time that we want. We actually want to overwrite the way it does units because right now we basically need,
Sorry, can you drop this notebook in the chat? The one you're looking at.
yes, unit visualizations.
Sweet. Wait, no, this is the one that has all of them.
Sorry, the new
Yeah, you
one.
silly,
Yeah.
silly person.
Um, I guess I should
All right, that's not gonna help
publish
anybody, is
it.
it?
Yeah. I'll enable link sharing for now. Um, yeah, so I feel that we basically, when we run that unit chart, it's based on data that uses the 2016 results if it's past a given time, I guess, right? So it's like, the state's reporting 2016 is like what time it is. So we need the electoral votes for each state in the given scenario.
Doesn't seem that hard.
And right. And I think yeah, I think we could do it. So I'm just going to copy paste this code for a second and put it here, I guess. So this is our units, and these are not going to be 2016. These are going to be like scenario. Red is not defined. Okay, great. Red, blue. We need a bunch of things. Okay. T3. And red and blue. And states. We don't want states reporting. We just want.
Sorry, my brain just went backwards, and now what I really want to do is feed your 2016 times into this radial chart. Because then you could watch it fill out for real down a path.
Oh, what?
As time went on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but this is her scenario is a 2020. Well, I guess it could always go this way. Like,
yeah, these are all the potential ways. So right, so like, and if your simulation data goes, okay, Florida was called first, or you know what I mean, Pennsylvania was called first, or whatever it is.
right.
Then it's borrowed. Like I don't know. That seems way complicated. Somebody else do it. It was a great idea. I'm full of great ideas.
Oh God. Okay. This is like really the whole thing, kit and caboodle here. Why I don't want states reporting. Get out of here. I don't know if this will work. All right, it makes 538 things.
Okay, that's right.
And I pass it back with unit, no, scenario as all right. What we need is basically a lookup for every that would use this as well as like give us back a value as called, right? Like these are all the battleground states. So if it's none, like what this is doing is it's saying filter down all the states to where the elect like the Democrats have more than zero
Right.
votes, right? Which in this case in 2016, what we want to be able to say is where selected state is right. Like this is D. Let's say
Mm.
this one's D.
Well, there's an
Then
in-between step where you turn selected states into a list of all states with their like with that how the other one expects it.
yeah, and what's the tricky thing, or that what I don't quite understand right now is
Hmm.
like, okay, Hawaii. Do we just go with what the 2016 version was, or is it like predicted?
Uh,
Right? If it's a battle, if it's non-battleground, we know.
no, they always have the same. States don't change the electoral votes they have.
Well, which party they went
Oh
for,
yeah, yeah.
right? It's like if they're not one of the battleground, I need to know what color they went for,
Well,
right? It's sort of being
the
assumed.
battleground is like seems like a red herring. Like, really, you just want to make a list of all states, like the circles chart expects, and use the selected states to make that right.
What I'm saying is, for the states that are not battleground, how do I choose whether their votes went to like Democrat or Republican?
Why do you have to?
Oh, they're just gonna be unknown
Yeah.
also? Okay, so I think if we say it's um, scenario, it states um, then I want this is going to be something like we'll give back the element,
Polite.
but we also well, let me do this in a couple lines. So return. We want to say if selected states d dot state, and I have to make this. These aren't using the abbreviations, so that's too bad.
do, you, do you want me to make a little map for you? What's up?
Oops, why is it too pretty? I think. Um, so if that has a value and the value is not equal none, then this is going to be R or D, I guess. We want to say D dot or D electoral. I'm like overthinking this. We in our units instead of doing the 2016 electoral D, we want something like D um, scenario, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Variable names are
And
important.
same for the R. So this is going to be, okay, that doesn't exist for any of these. Not 100% sure on my logic here, but
No, this makes sense
um,
to me. And then we'll just make a new object based on selected states for every state.
well, it'd be scenario plus that.
Okay.
No, that didn't work. Oh, this should be state. So yeah, if it doesn't have I don't know why this didn't make any. Oh, okay, there we go.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is only the ones in that chart. Interesting.
That is really
So I
interesting.
think now I think my problem is the logic here. Like I need something unknown should be if not d dot. um, Basically, in this case, if it doesn't have a scenario R or D, then it's not.
Yeah, then it's like unknown.
Then it's unknown. So if it's not that and it's not that, then it's unknown.
Love it.
And okay, I don't need to return. It's still not giving me unknowns. Shouldn't all of these?
So wait, Pennsylvania
So
has
something like,
stuff but doesn't appear, it looks like.
no, Pennsylvania and Florida are appearing. So it's just not all the other states. I want all the other states to show up too. So like these two are working. The unknowns, either this logic is wrong.
No, but that's what's selected on the chart right now is Pennsylvania and Florida. On the radial chart. Oh, because selected states they. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So theoretically, if we were to plug, like if you change, state.
I'm gonna make like Ohio,
Is it like
Arizona.
it's like
R.
frozen?
No, I might be putting in
Like, could you change?
impossible things. I'm just gonna change them all to none real quick in the selected states.
Okay.
Or just there you go. There should be a lot more now, maybe.
Where you're running it?
Yeah, I made selected states so only Florida has a thing.
It's not updating.
Oh, maybe I'll reshare.
No, that's not it. It's something about the reactivity. Like we're using scenario. It's getting passed into there. I think part of the issue with this is that this should probably be a function or like a. I have to wait. It isn't state. This is based on states. State scenario. Oh, it's not based on that. It should be based on state scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scenario. States scenario. Okay, but then it's still. Do I have to like rerun the import? Oh crap, I think I have to rerun the import. That's not cool. So it doesn't transition.
What do you mean?
Why does that go nuts like that?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out.
It should be below it, basically. This stringify.
Got it.
Or we just keep so you can do name. Say radio tree.map. So this is basically.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of unknowns in these scenarios, right? Like this is saying he can get, or they can. I guess it is he. He can get to 270 with just Florida, Pennsylvania, or just Ohio and Georgia, right? So like everything else is going to be unknown. It's going to be like 2 on either side, and this is going to be really cool. Actually, I'm like super excited for this.
Yeah, so this kind of tells us we can have our variable basically the state scenario. Yeah, it's this one that we want to. Like when this updates, we want to use those outcomes to change what's selected, which would update the unit tree, unit chart. So that's doable because instead of selected states, do that state, or we would create our own selected states based on whatever radial tree is.
It's a weird array you made, buddy.
It is. That's just so I could see it. Really, like we would access the name and the party. The name to get the state.
I'm just saying the array you made makes me a little uncomfortable.
It's just for display.
I know, that's just weird.
Because I couldn't inspect it, right? Like the way this is right now, it's just mousing. I could.
This is just so. This is like you're saying. Notebook. This is like a fancy console log via observable is making an array of information. What I'm learning is that you're just innovating console logging within this new technology.
Yeah, so you can kind of customize a little log thing wherever you're at. Um, and but it is also, though, to be fair, only because we're importing this chart, we're trying to use that pattern, right? So
Right.
like we can't really change how this chart works. If we had forked it, which
Right, you
was,
could just console
one of the
log in place
original ideas,
wherever it was doing it.
or you could change instead of being a mouse out, you could just turn off the mouse out
Right.
so that I could just leave it pinned on
Well,
one, right? Like that's kind of
let's
what I.
overwrite it. Can't you just go in and like do like something dot mouse out equals null?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because we imported it, we can't. The code is in that other notebook, in not our notebook. If we had forked that notebook,
No, let's hack it. No, I understand what you're saying, but yes, and can we be hackers and turn it off in some other way?
um, not easily.
Okay.
Like, I think that's the trade-off for importing versus like forking. Is that importing, we didn't have to really pay attention to how any of it worked. We just like, oh, I know this thing, and it depends on like, it's giving us this data. If we forked this and we went in, we could change it here pretty quickly, right? In this SVG code. But if we had forked this notebook in order to do the idea we had, this like chili fries thing,
Right.
there would be so much other stuff that would be like trying to
Yeah.
click
No.
away
Let's
and
let's
stuff.
stick to the MVP of our chili cheese fries. Not even cheese. We haven't integrated cheese. Chili fries. Now I'm
Yeah.
hungry.
So what I'm gonna say is that we or propose that we do is that I like the state scenario, instead of being based on selected states, we go through, we say let scenario equal an object, and then we say radial tree dot for each element, and it's d dot state, or d dot name is the state. So we say scenario d dot name equals d dot party, right? And so that generates that same object. And then instead of selected states here, and we should say s is this, we're going to say s is scenario d dot state. I should have done this before. Whoa, it does work. What the
Hell
hell?
yeah, bro.
All right, let me like minimize this so we can see what's going on here. Don't need that. Dude. Cool. I don't know why. That should move out of the way.
That's just so gangster. But it doesn't make any sense now.
What do you mean?
Because if it's paths to 270, I was expecting.
Oh, that's what I was trying
Go ahead.
to say in the
Oh, you
beginning,
don't
is
know
the
where the
reason that
other
it's
ones go. Yeah, this is based on 2020 predictions. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Well, you would give them 2016. Who won 2016? I guess, and then change it based on this.
Yeah. Let's go with that for starters.
No,
So
no.
basically
Hold
the
on.
unknown.
You're allowed to bathe in your success for a moment, which is what I'm gonna do, and just like this is so dope to like scroll around and see them rearrange. It's like super sick.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool that we got that to work. Um, See, and it's a pretty satisfying dance.
Yeah, maybe it should be faster too, like based on this interaction.
Yeah, in this case, and I think we should be able to overwrite the
Oh,
duration. Do you
sick.
remember what you?
Yeah, make it like 800 or
So
750 or something. Ooh. Yeah, that's fun.
yeah, so then I guess if they were all filled in because of the 2016, so we can do that in our scenario. We'll pin that open. So for all of those, then I guess if it doesn't have a scenario or like
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't have a radial chart scenario, then just use the 2016 winning party for that state.
yeah, also scenario should be like its own
Do you want me to get you
thing.
data of who won each state in 2016, or do you have that somewhere?
Oh, I think we can just import that, or is it included in our current states data?
Word?
I'll show you. It's just like attached
We
to
just
the
have
states.
that?
We import it.
What's the food metaphor for
Yeah.
that? I guess it's like when, I don't know, when your tuna comes with dill, when they throw in an onion ring in your fries.
All right. So that makes a scenario. So we don't have. So if it is one of the scenarios, we set it to that. Else, we want to say state scenario um, R is D dot, or it's D 2016 dot electoral R. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
but we only
bruh.
want
That's pretty sick.
but we only want it to do it. The battleground state should start out. If they're none, it shouldn't do this. Just equal none. It shouldn't do that. That for some reason, it's like Hawaii has three, even though. In this one, sorry. No, this is still. Oh, so when we hover this, it's only filling out our scenario object with the things that have been chosen so far, right? Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
But I want like the original list of battleground states that if it's not explicitly in this list, then don't use the previous decisions, right? Like
Yeah, when it's not
you only want to,
selected,
I say,
you want to have those be gray, right? And right now they're colored by
yeah,
2016.
yeah. So well, I guess battleground, I think it's just the keys of this, right? So these are the states that I want them to be gray unless you've explicitly done it, and I want them to be filled with 2016. And maybe we should visually distinguish 2016 a little bit, right? Like
One thing at a time,
we have
buddy.
to get into visual, yeah. State scenario. So this should not be if state d dot state, so battlegrounds dot index of d dot state is greater than or equal to 0. Don't do this stuff.
Oh, we're 4 minutes away from 10 p.m. and I would suggest that we take a little break at that point. I bet you'll have gotten this working exactly how we want it by then. If you're cool, do you want to do a 5 minute break, a 10 minute break? What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm like really close. Like,
No, I
think
know, but
yeah,
you're within 3 minutes. I think you're gonna get it because we're fucking professionals. It's gonna line up perfectly.
Oh, I see what you're saying. In 3 minutes, we take a 10. Yeah, I think a 10-minute break would be
10 minute
helpful.
break. All right, perfect. I'm super excited for dessert. So it's working when you have stuff selected. It looks like, or certain things selected.
Oops. Yeah.
It's when you have Maine or Nebraska. Oh, ooh.
Hopefully this works.
Bro, this is sick.
Yeah.
This is really cool. As you like follow it down the path.
Why does it go to 254 though?
I was okay. So while you were doing all those other things, I was asking this very question of like, in scenarios where like you make him win, it's not 270. Oh, and then I answered it in my head. It's because you're not counting New Hampshire and Maine electoral college votes correctly. I think it's part of one thing.
Oh, right, because they're named the full thing instead of the abbreviation.
Correctamundo. So that's at least 4.
Also, I think using the 2016 results is not quite right. 'Cause, like, look
It
at
does
this.
seem like that was bad.
Like this is adding the 276. So we need to
Sorry,
use
but hold on.
whatever.
This is actually just goes. Sorry, this is based on my outlook on reality. Because when you do this, these are like scenarios where, like, based on some other understanding of reality that isn't based on 2016, where if like Trump wins Florida and Biden wins, Pennsylvania and Ohio and Georgia, then like Biden wins. But like if you use the 26 data, that's still not true. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's like if it's like actually really like wrong, or like if this goes back to the idea of like how people are thinking about this election in such a, I don't know, traditional forecasting way. You know what I mean? Of like the baseline number you use talks a little, has to do with how you view the world a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, and that in doing that, this is actually, when you see it this way, and we're doing it the 2016 way, you can see how the like cookie crumbled in a way, right? So
Right.
whereas when you're only looking at the
Sorry.
radial chart, yeah, I mean, but I think this is a perfect stopping point,
Yeah, this is
right?
awesome.
Like we
Way to
got,
go.
put this in the chat. It's not published yet because I think in order, we really should figure out, either write down what's happening or whatever, right?
Totally.
Figure that out. But yeah, this is really cool to get like that idea and to make the chili cheese fries.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll be back
Actually have it
in
work.
10 minutes at 10:10. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Hell on Earth is Blue Radon. Everybody else, appreciate you guys. What do we do? What's our dessert again? Oh, right, we're making a tree map house.
Floor plan. Yeah, we're gonna make a floor plan. So
Totally
that's gonna
forgot
be
about that.
pretty nuts.
All right, so we'll see you guys in 10 minutes or so. Stay tuned. Same place, same channel, same time, all that.
See you very soon.
I tell the story of especially of a 32 bus with the help of the weatherman. He has to go to Algeria and submit to Cleaver, who has a government in exile, and the Cleaver takes his passport and won't let him leave, and he has to, I mean,
Hilarious. No, made yet.
And we're live again. It's Monday night. It's Coding with Fire. Thanks for hanging out with us again. So tonight's been a dope night. I'm gonna take a stab at recapping the excellent progress that Ian has made while I've been sort of watching on combining these notebooks. So we started from this crazy notebook that we were working on last night of all these different approaches to visualizing the Electoral College. And showing each electoral college vote as its own unit in a variety of different unit charts. And then we wanted to sort of play with this idea of transitioning, and it's really cool to watch them move. And in this data set, we're sort of watching 2016 play out. So this is, 11:44 p.m., this is 2 a.m., and you sort of see the state electoral college votes rearrange. And then there's another really cool notebook that your coworker made, Carrie made, where you can sort of see the paths to 270 based on if Trump wins Florida and Pennsylvania and Ohio, and then Biden wins North Carolina, this is how many electoral college votes they get, and it's visualized in her notebook in this sort of competing bar chart at the top. And so we had this idea of what if you mashed them together, those two ideas, and now we have what I think is a really cool animating electoral college vote visualization where you can sort of move around this radial chart to control which state goes to which party, and then see what the effect is on the electoral college below. And I really like this because we didn't plan on making this. We didn't start the show and we were like, oh, let's put these two things together. It sort of just happened organically, and it's definitely cooler than anything I could have planned. I really like how it came out.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So now it's time for our dessert.
Nice. Yeah. And so to do that, we basically want to play with this idea we had. I guess you actually initiated last stream when we came across a screenshot of this tree map, which is a visualization I've been trying to work on to map out D3's modules, right? It's split into all these different modules. They do all these different things. And conceptually, they're colored actually by conceptual categories. So that's a whole project just to document D3 better and stuff like that. But when you saw it, because we were playing with the Mozilla Hubs and the VR, you're like, what if that looks like a floor plan to a building?
Totally. Well, also we've played with that before, right? We've extruded paths into 3D before. So it's not a totally out there idea. It's tied into a few different things we've done before.
Exactly. So now the question is, how do we make this look more like an actual floor plan so that, off the bat, kind of having thicker hallways, like if this was one building. So playing with the layout in D3, in the visualization as it is, and just messing around with that is one fun step. And then the other one would be, okay, we have this stuff we generate with D3. What's, how do we export that into something that you can bring into Hubs, right? And make it an actual building.
So I think I just want to, off the bat, we got to make some bigger hallways. We were talking about that before.
Yeah.
So how do you make more space between rooms, I guess, based on the tree map thing?
Well, I'm going to guess, we can start with padding. So let's see. There we go.
Yeah, that was easy. All right, cool. Got some hallways. Done. It did sort of give you some nice little wings, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
The titles.
I don't know if... I don't know how separate the things within a color should be. It's different areas within a room, right?
Yeah. That's a good question. And whether those should be separate floor plan, it's the color should probably be one solid color, and then you want to do things inside there maybe? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, you just want a hole around all of the blue things. And then within them you could label this, I don't even necessarily need to, for the extrusion thing, it shouldn't even know about the subrooms even necessarily, right?
Right, right, exactly. Like if you want to build the halls for these things. Um, yeah. All right. So actually, I think I had one, this one down here, tree map I was making. I don't remember where I got tree map from. This one is the actual code. So we could, let's see, I've already made this a fork, so we're in here. Let me just look at what it's doing. So it's going for the leaves, and the leaves of this tree map are data 2. So it's at the module level, not the category level. We want a category 1, which is what this one is not at the module level, it's at the actual API method level. So I'm gonna go
So
one
that's
level up
zooming
like
in,
this one.
and we want to zoom. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah. So the thing is that I made this one, this one's based on data. What if we just change this to data instead of data 2? Whoa. That wasn't it?
Yeah, no.
Because this is creating rectangles, divs actually, and positioning them all
Yeah,
crazy.
divs is going to be hard to extrude,
that's
huh?
nuts. But where, so actually, like in here, I have this tree map function. And I need to remember where I got it from. Tree map. Oh, it's in here. Okay, and this is doing SVG stuff.
Oh, cool. So there is an SVG version.
And yeah, and I think that this one is like, if we want to do padding 10 here, we would put it in that code, and it would, oh, it didn't like padding. Where it is. Is it not padding? Also wanted to lay out the same as this one did. So just doing tree map binary padding 10. So it does like a weird, oh, because this one's zoomable. So this one's too complicated too. I don't want all that.
Oh boy. Oh jeez.
Let me make this will be, copy paste this function. Tree map extrude, right? Because eventually it's going to do that. And the way it works is passing in hierarchy of that stuff. Tree map extrude. All right, and basically it has this extra tile thing here, but I think I want to copy the other one up here where it was like this stuff. Comment this out. Okay, didn't like that. But I think there is... Well, let me turn off the padding. Okay, so for some reason the padding is not playing well.
Right.
Something else
I like what you've
going
done
on here. I don't know. Oh, and this is... Okay, so it's still doing the... Weird. I don't want to call... This is doing a weird thing where it's calling with the roots. All right, I want to step back for a second because I'm like jumping in and using some random tree map code I had prototyped with before.
Let's make a new tree map.
We want to do a
new tree map.
Yeah, we want
Fuck
to do
all the old
pretty
tree maps.
specific.
Nobody likes those tree maps. They're too complicated. Who needs them? We make tree maps. Tree maps aren't that hard. You just take a tree map, you put it in the tree map thing. New tree map.
Yeah. So the thing is that the one that we were looking at first, right, is based on this data 2, which is essentially like each of these things, and then their children are the modules.
That's fun.
Right? We kind of want it to stop at this level for now, right? Like we want to just see this. So we could say, we could even go so far as to make a data 3.
Data 3! Now you're talking.
And this, I think we would
It's
say...
just d.length or whatever, right?
We would sum that, yeah, or something like that.
Children.length.
Children. Or it might even be this. I think we could just not do this one.
Okay.
Data 3 is defined more than once. Okay, great. Data
Look
extrude.
at you trying to make too many datas.
I don't think this one will happen anymore. Okay, but they don't have a value. Group. I don't know if value. Okay. Basically not getting a value at all. Oh, because I'm not saying any value here. So like the value would be d3.sum.
Ooh, now you're talking.
I guess. Oh yeah, this had data and value, so the value would be like the sum. Okay, what did I do? That's the sum. Should be 2. Right. Fine. Okay, so this should give us data extrude. So now if we look at the way, what is this one done? This one actually might be...
I feel like I'm in a mad scientist lab and you're like quickly taking on and off jackets and you're like, I could use this one, or we could use, I have this one that's slightly different, that's mostly sized right, except for this part, or we could take the top off this one and attach it, sew it onto this one.
It is kind of like that, and my thing is lagging right now. I don't know why.
Maybe it's because you're in a closet full of fucking 10 million options.
This is the lab for sure. Okay, browser. But I think I'm close. I wanted to see. I'm not coloring it properly. I'm not using this. So, well, the padding is different. Let me get the colors working. Let me also comment this out. So, data extrude. I want to put that by my thing here. Now I'm commandeering this. So this one is written in. Oh, damn it, this is a div one too. God damn it.
So Hell on Earth asks, while you do that, Hell on Earth asks, could tree map be used for word packing? I think yes. A strong yes. You'd have to figure out a cool way of sizing the text by the size of the tree map nodes. But that sounds like a fun project. But don't distract Ian with fun ideas like word packing the name of the module.
All right, so I'm going to make a new thing here where it's going to be extrude map. Create my SVG. That's what we do every night.
That's what we do every night. Ooh, Blue Radon has a little election map. I'll check it out.
Cool.
Interesting. This is from the early vote data.
See it here first.
What is this repo? So wait, this is live North Carolina election data? Oh, it will be. So what data are we currently looking at? Like, what is this? Top cell. Oh, I see. Interesting. This is pretty dope. So you're getting the map all ready for live data. Ooh, this is fun. Where'd you get this from? Oh, this is just for North Carolina, though. But very fun, great, detailed county by county North Carolina data. Yeah, but this is still, if it's early voting numbers, this is live. This is live. This is like the latest election. This is like what the election looks like right now, right? This is dope. The thing I want to see most looking at this is how they voted and how that county voted in 2016 and what the swing is based on the vote that's reporting currently. So if I go to like Mitchell County, how did Mitchell County, like what was the final Republican and Democratic vote percentage last election? Which I think I have in a notebook somewhere. How do you make your I don't know much about Bakelite. How do you make your tooltips? That's this. I can link you to where the last place that I used 2016 election data also, which might be useful. Yeah, here. And the Eves one. Oh, that's not the easiest way to get it, though, I don't think. Choropleth with textures is probably the one with the easiest representation of it. Let's see. County election results. Where does it come from? Is it also an attachment here? No. Oh, okay. Yeah, here. County election results. And they look like this. So you have your FIPS code. Sorry that it's named combined FIPS, but the FIPS code is combined FIPS, and then you have the votes Democratic, votes GOP, percent Democratic, percent GOP, and then the difference. I would love to see these two percentages in your tooltips if you can do that. That would be dope. I might even fork it if you don't do it, but try this out.
Nice.
How's it going over there, Ian? What are you up to?
Good. I just did a little quick mise en place while you're sharing. Basically, I have our SVG where we're going to draw our tree map. I pulled the tree map, D3 tree map code out into its own cell.
Ooh.
So that I could do things like look at what the leaves are, and this is the console log thing again. Because I'm trying to build this tree map just from this layout. So we'll see that, like, for instance, it's not X, Y, I think it's X0, Y0 is where we want the rectangle to be, and the width is X1 minus X0, I think. I get to rebuild the rectangle from the corners.
Yay!
Right, so there's our tree map. And then
give it a fill.
We can, yeah, color d dot data dot data. Oh. Yay.
Nice, dude.
Now we should be able to mess around with like the padding. Yes. Padding.
That looks like a floor plan.
It does. It's getting there, right? And I want them to have like not straight. Anyway, that's not. Anyway, there. The other one, this one's laid out slightly differently. Is it using? It's using binary, I think, width minus 50. So it does that. What am I? I'm taking off a huge chunk of width over here for apparently no reason. So, shit, with height. What's wrong with that? And binary. I kind of like this layout a little better, right?
Yeah, this is nice. This feels good. I would go to that museum.
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird that there's like a purple closet area on the south wing, but that's okay, I guess.
It's localization. Yeah.
Nobody really wants that.
In this one, it's like D3, format and time format.
Okay, those are important. D3, yeah, that's like, okay, sorry, I use D3 format constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, do you want me to give you the notebook where we turn paths into 3D objects?
Well, here's the deal, right?
Here's the deal. I've never heard you say that before.
The deal is, I think, that if we actually exported this as SVG and you took it into Illustrator...
Oh, shit.
You could fuck it up, like, a little bit more in terms of being, like, or like you don't want a purple closet there. Like let's just
All right,
move it around.
bro.
You know,
I'm
like
with it. Which notebook are we in? I'll download it.
because I'll put it in the chat if I didn't already. Because actually, in that way, right? Like the tree map. Nice. You came to
Great.
do, man. EJ killing it. So the tree map's like proportional area is not a, you know, a sacred thing in what we're doing right now.
Oh,
right?
true.
It's a
Yeah, it's
guiding
just
guideline
yeah,
based
it's
on
just sort
how
of
many modules
inspired
there
by
are.
it, right?
But like you could imagine that, yeah, if these arbitrary like to your taste, right? Like
All right,
you could even size them a little bit differently.
I got it going. We're in Illustrator. What do you want to do to it? I kind of want to. Can I move the purple inside a little bit? That's the main thing I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck up their margins, but it's okay. What else?
Well, I feel like you could also make like the green, the light green, the dark green, and the pink sort of all squares and just have them be like,
Squares.
yeah, just fuck them up. I don't know.
What?
Make a copy or something.
Bro, you're crazy. All right, hold on. Yeah, I will make a copy because this is wildness. All right, we'll make a whole nother.
Well, if you think about like, okay, what would this look like as an actual room or like a series of booths, or you're like, I kind of want a long hallway that all these bottom ones share or something like that.
Okay. Now you're talking. Okay, yeah. So let's give it some feng shui for the.
Yeah.
All right, so we want a long hallway. Well, should we just bump these guys down so we can like? Is that what you're saying? Get some of this
I'm saying
going?
like you have artistic license to just change the representations at this point,
Love it.
and like because the extent to which it's like a VR floor plan, so like when we put our stuff in it, it's not required to take up exactly that much space, right? So
Yeah, so I made us like a sort of like entryway courtyard sort of situation. This just feels better to me already.
yeah, and then you got to think like where are the doors and
What a great,
what is it?
truly excellent point you're making. Where are the doors?
And it makes me kind of feel like I want the purple to not be a building. Like it should be like a garden. Like the green should be a park or something, you know? So it's something that's...
I agree with this sentiment.
An installation in the lobby is, I guess, the... It's the whale hanging over the Natural Museum of History. Right?
So I'm imagining like little doors like this, like sort of, you know what I mean? Like halfway into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's sort of like, I've been in like art, like warehouses of like artist studios where it's sort of arranged like this, you know what I mean? Where everybody has like a sort of studio.
You know what would have been smart of me though, is if I gave each of these rectangles an ID of their data name, so that when you were...
Oh, that would have been so smart. So smart, Ian.
It's like we know these things that we're supposed to do, but
we do know them in the abstract.
Yeah, I mean, just to spell it out too, if people aren't familiar with Illustrator and what we did with SVG, like downloading the SVG from Observable lets you, you can import that in Illustrator and then do what EJ's doing. But then if he exports it again as an SVG, then after he's changed all these things, if they had IDs, we could attach data to them, right? If we're going to do some kind of data-driven thing with it.
All right, I made my floor plan. Do you like it?
I am digging it. Yeah.
Should these doors be like bumped up against the right? Like this. this come from?
Oh, you have the 3 shifted over?
Yeah, so this is our original. And I did like you said I could take some artistic license, so I did.
Yeah.
And so you like, wait, I should write entrance. Entrance. You know what I'm saying? It's like you enter right here. Oops, Jesus. Enter right here. And then you like walk in. You can walk into this place or you can walk into that place. So should I export this as SVG and add it as a file attachment?
Yeah, probably. That makes sense.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of this.
The other thing we may be able to do, or you could, yeah, you should do that, and then, but we could go to the extrude part, right? Like that's kind of the next question of. We want to generate 3D objects of the floor plan that you
exactly
did, and I realized I can still join them by their colors.
Oh,
so
genius!
All is not lost.
You're so smart. All right, extrude map is a file attachment in that notebook now. I don't know if that's helpful to you or not.
So copy code. I think we can do, well, let's just try this. HTML extrude map. Wait, what? No, not extrude map. Await file attachment extrude map to SVG. No dot text.
There you go.
Heyo.
Hooray!
Nice. So that means that this thing, we could use D3 and select like the buildings and do stuff with them. You might want a version that doesn't have the doors though. Or
yeah, let me put them on a layer so you can like turn them on and off quickly, real quick.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Doors, and we'll call this rooms. Save, and I can just upload again, like as another version of it, right?
Yes.
Update or something.
And then I think
replace file.
You just replace file.
There you go.
Nice. I want to send this off. All right, so extrude map at 1. So okay, yeah, you did that there. So it's got a layer. So now the question is, how do we want to turn this into a 3D object? And
well, first just make every square a big old box. Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just like, on a tactical level, what is the syntax for doing that? Is something that we...
I already looked it up, buddy. It's in the chat.
What?
Yep.
Okay. Why are you over there? So, okay, well, the thing is, this one uses a path.
Is this not the right one?
California points. But it might be, we might be able to figure it out. So if there's an SVG path element, we might have to redraw them as paths instead of, ooh, can you turn the rectangles to paths in Illustrator? Isn't that like a thing?
Let me see. I don't think so. I'll look. I'm gonna click all of them and I'll look. Object path. No, not really. Well, I could turn them and no, because they would still be rectangles.
There is a module here where I could convert it. I guess it would have made sense. One thing we could try is if I convert it to paths and then if we had that part done first and then you edit it in Illustrator, I wonder how different that
maybe
would be.
Just try it with the one that I didn't edit first for extrude, and then we can work our way backwards.
Yeah, okay. That's a good call. All right, so what we want to do is...
Oh, we also have 10 minutes left.
Okay. Well, we want to render each of these squares as paths, right? So instead of rectangles, I'm going to do path.
What's the easiest way to draw a rectangular path? I guess we could just hand write SVG M top left, L top right, L bottom right, ML bottom left, SVG. Is that what you were imagining?
Right. So it's M Y0. So move it there. Is there a comma in between? That's why I never remember.
Nope, no comma. It's just nonsense, just forever language, if I recall correctly.
All right, well, we'll see. So it's going to go to that, but stay on... Well, let's see what this does, first of all. Nothing. And then L, we got X1, we got 1, X1, Alright, so you're saying there's no commas.
That's what I think.
I think I might have had the commas backwards. The comma is after. I guess there'd be an easy way to look this up.
Yeah, I'll do it. Oh, commas between your coordinates, but not between commands. No, command space coordinate, comma, no space coordinate, command space. I mean.
Okay.
Oh,
your mic sounds... You
know what I think happened with my mic before and also just now? Is that Mozilla Hubs took over my microphone. Because I refreshed my Mozilla Hubs window just now. And that's what ruined our lives. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Oh. Interesting. Alright, well I got paths.
Oh, sick. That was quick.
Wait a minute though. Wait, I already have. I don't need to necessarily go to pass. So I should have. So this takes. It needs points. Like it's gonna render. We have a bunch of points, and it gets the points with this function. Get points, right? So. Oh, I guess this we could still use this to control how many like interpolating points you want in case you wanted to make.
Oh yeah, more parts
weird.
of the square, I guess.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Get points. Let me open that up.
All right. Well, I have to be in my left ear or right ear. I'm going to be one ear only for the remainder of. Or did I fix it? No, it should be fixed now. We'll see.
All right, so I'm gonna grab a couple of functions from this notebook.
As
Get
per
points.
usual. Cool. OBS fixed it. Who knows how live streaming audio works? Because what's it been? 23 streams. We're still figuring it out. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate all of you.
Oh, but this is only going to be one thing at a time, right?
Yes. But you added to a Three.js scene, I guess?
But didn't I, for our like 3D... I think there was one we did with the...
Oh, the mesh.
Yeah.
The mesh one, you made a bunch of them, I think.
Where is it?
We make too many things. Graphene Moray 3D.
Nice.
That's the stuff right there. You do make many things.
So yeah, this does a bunch of stuff.
It sure does.
Get that out. All right, so this mesh STL function looks like it's going to be important. Points to mesh is going to be important.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this concept of a layer. So this is actually, for each of the points, it's drawing a path. Essentially, it's doing the line to move to line to. So that creates the shape and extrudes it. So we could take this. So the layer is supposed to have a set of objects. So like each rectangle would be an array of points essentially. So we could adopt this setup and import these things from this.
Yeah, do you want to just fork this notebook and then try and translate our rooms into it?
Well, the thing, I think I can get it by pulling from this one. Give me that. I mean, yeah, we don't have much time yet, but I do think that it's only a few of these functions, so it's still.
I believe me. We got points to mesh. We got a bunch of extrude, a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, so we'll mess around with this.
It should give you little options of all the things it exports.
Yeah, that is certainly a good idea. It should be something that we do. So this points to mesh thing is fine. So I need to get points somehow. And so what this was doing was, this thing was generating a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah, but we don't need any of that
Points to
wildness, I
mesh
don't think.
scene. Yeah. Yes, we want this points to mesh scene function. So we just need to be able to come up with a scene which was get hex grid circles. So this basically returns a variety of things with some weird calculations. I don't need all of that stuff. That just gives you a circle. Give you a so we want to go through our tree map rectangles and give back an array of points. So I
Like
think
the
if we
top
do
left,
that,
top right, bottom left, bottom right.
Where it's the path. Yeah, exactly. So we're sort of compromising by saying like in this one, we kind of want to essentially take this. So let's say extrude points is going to be this thing where we take extrude root.leaves, map through them. Instead of all of this stuff, it's going to be like...
Oh, an array. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think the points, the values are .x and .y, or is it vertex 0? I don't know what all that crap is. Where's the... Each point has an x, a y. This one has r, theta, so...
I just put a rock screen. That's fine.
Just use d.x and y. Yeah, so we just need to return to x and y. What happened?
I just briefly, my one thought was I wanted to zoom in on your screen, so I duplicated the scene, but when I did that, I actually changed to another scene, which was my Be Right Back scene for like a long time ago, and it's a monkey smoking a cigarette, and it says "Be Right Back." So it just briefly did that, and it amused me, and I apologize.
All good. All right, so x, comma, y. X. All right, so that's... All right, so each one of these has 4 points. So then when we do a 3 scene, we need a 3 scene. Hey, look at that.
Whoa. Bro, like, perfect timing on that, too.
Nice.
That's wild, dude.
Now, I don't know what their height... I guess their height is like...
Don't even worry about it. I didn't even notice it, honestly. I think you're fine.
I want to give them their colors, though.
All right.
This is the fun... Okay, we're at
time,
I guess.
We can... I'm down to hang out for a little overtime. I think we're like 10 minutes away from having them be the right color. And I'm willing to hang out. And then we can do our recap and go to bed. And I'm going to roll a spliff. So it's all good.
Okay. Yeah, because this is like where in the territory of where I've wanted to be for quite a while.
Oh, that's a nice thing to hear every once in a while.
Like 3D tree maps, being able to do that just seems like so much fun.
Well, and also we get to go to the D3 museum, which is what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Did you know that my friend is actually the director of a children's science museum?
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
She's trying to... It's very hard to be a children's interactive science museum during a pandemic.
Oh, God, yeah. Imagine.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Is New Zealand going to legalize the marijuanas? I thought you guys already did, honestly.
Oh, wow. Alright, so everything's kind of offset a little bit, but fine. What is TX? I don't know what I'm doing here. Color.
Color.
Right, so material.
Oh my god. Oh, fucking 3JS material colors. Dude, bruh. Oh my god. Alright, let's search up... No, let's search observable for 3JS color and see what happens. Ooh, there's lots of fun, great things in here.
I'm going to make a material for every layer. And we need...
Oh, you can give it an RGB string.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. New 3.color RGB string.
Wait, did I do that wrong? This new 3 dot, is it capital C?
Yep, I'm going to put it in the chat.
Yay, okay, cool.
Hooray!
Alright. So then that should be really easy if I can make my points. Each of these, let array equal that. I'm just gonna force it to have.
How on Earth is said that we should make a color palette notebook. Little do they know that earlier today, during a discussion with my good friend Ian, I made us a little blank notebook called CWF color schemes. And then I added one array and didn't do anything else with it. But your head's in the right place. Great minds think alike.
Yes.
You did it, dude. That's so gangster. It's only 11:05.
Yeah. So now what I want is shiny ass metal materials with these color.
All right, let's see. How do I make things shiny? 3JS shiny. Shiny. Here we go. Mesh Fong material. What do we have right now? 3.material?
Mesh standard material.
Do 3.mesh Fong material. And see what happens.
How do I spell?
PHONG.
Do I have to add lights?
Yeah, if you could add the field shininess also, that'd be great. And then, yeah, Hell on Earth says we need lights too.
How do I, shininess, what is it set to?
It's set to like 34 or 40 or something. With an I. Yeah. And then do we
Okay,
want like, oh, that's shiny. And then we want like an ambient light or like a spotlight or like a direct. I don't want to point. I don't want to get into light pointing right now, personally.
I think I'm like.
So all you get is an
satis-
ambient light. This is shiny enough for you. You're okay with this?
I'm satisfied with.
It's so easy to add a light, though. I'm gonna do it. Where's our notebook?
All right. I'll share it again.
Sick.
I'm also gonna move this scene up. Yeah, I feel like there's a whole world of 3D, of course, to learn and like exposure to, but even how the camera starts, I'd like it to be in this position. I wish it would tell me what my camera parameters are so I could.
So wait, it's at the bottom of this? Because I get.
No, I moved it to the top.
I get 3 is not defined when I load this. Okay. Render. Do we have a renderer? Is that a thing I can just set here? How on earth is? What are you doing?
I was trying to download. I don't know if this is gonna work.
How come a 3 is not defined? Probably because it comes from Graphene Moire. But why does it work for you?
Oh, that is an excellent question. Import 3 scene. Well, let's import 3. And hopefully that defines it for you. How does it
No, now points to mesh. I don't know. I don't know. It's getting late.
Where did you do it?
Oh, now it's working. Now it's working in Chrome. Yay. I didn't do anything yet. Add meshes, 3C.
Render physically correct lights. Is that a parameter of the material or?
That's what I wasn't sure of. And then, like, where's our, like, scene defined? It's just this 3 scene. What is a 3 scene? None of this makes any goddamn sense.
Yeah, that's like a helper. So most of the 3JS code is in the add meshes. Or
Got it. This is like because we're sandwiching notebooks together again.
Yeah, and that one, like it relied on
All right, do you want to do a little wrap up on just the tree map? Or I can do it if you want, or whatever you want. Whatever you want to do, buddy.
Yeah, so changing 3 scene, you have to go to like the utility we use. All right, I mean, yeah, let's do a little wrap up. Well, I think you should be able to have your like Illustrator open, right? Or am I just gonna scroll down to this and like bring it up?
Well, what I wanted to do back when I ruined the audio 20 minutes ago, it was because I wanted to start in VR again and do the recap that way, but that won't work. So.
Oh. All right. So yeah, this has some. Yeah, let's do a little recap.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna put it on your screen. And don't spoil it. Scroll down so that people get surprised with how great the 3D-ness is.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, we wanted for this part of the stream to take this tree map of D3 modules that I've been working on and turn it into a floor plan. And so our first order of business was taking like the data structure that I had from before, rendering like a pretty simple SVG tree map, and then suggested that EJ download it and bring it into Illustrator, which he then did, and took some artistic license on reshaping and sizing the different rooms in our floor plan. Since it's no longer supposed to be a strict data viz, it's supposed to be like a place where you put examples and like talk about these different modules in our 3D VR environment, right? The Mozilla Hubs.
Exactly.
Which, yeah. So and to get to that, like what we're trying to do is like make a data-driven floor plan for a space. So we go from the SVG to the edited floor plan. You put it back to SVG, bring it back in a notebook, which is how we're looking at it right now. And then we realized, oh, we need to make it into 3D. And we've done something like this before with this, some pretty crazy stuff here. We're able to adapt the code from there to turn our tree map 3D, which has a nice feel to it. And so, they're not quite buildings yet, but
it's close. You can see it. You can see the potential now.
You can see the potential. I think they're sized sort of randomly and stuff like that. But yeah, it feels really good. So we have basic 3D rendering capabilities and object making capabilities, so that maybe next time we can export these, or we would polish up like the size and the particulars that we might want, export them and bring them into Mozilla Hubs.
Exactly. And then we can sort of walk around and figure out what each room, what it looks like to like walk into a D3 module. Or like, I do like the idea of like, if you get a bunch of screenshots of things that have to do with it, like we could read, like we were doing in the beginning of the show, like just throw screenshots around the room, you know what I mean? And other people could come in and add their screenshots and stuff like that. Like maybe it's not a museum for us to make, like it's if you build it, they will come sort of situation. So if we just make the space and make the room and let anybody pin stuff to it within reason, then maybe it'll make itself.
I like that a lot. And it'd be cool because we talked about the idea of having guests on the stream. So even if you're filling out the rooms on the stream and saying like having somebody who's like done a lot of cool stuff with like, well, you didn't done a lot of cool stuff with D3 Force, but like to D3 Geo or something like that, and like throw up a bunch of projections on the wall and the table. I think it's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, so this was dope.
We're on our way. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Before we sign off, Blue Radon has the percentages and the tooltips. So I just want to look at that before we go.
Yeah, let's check it out. That's awesome.
Because that's super dope. I'm excited. Oh, yeah, now we're talking. So now this is what I'm most interested in, is like if we already know what the early vote in North Carolina looks like, North Kakalaki, what does, like, are the Dems doing worse or better? And like, it looks in certain Democratic places, Democrats are doing way better. Interesting. And in red places, it got redder. Not necessary. Oh, that's just. Oh, I see. It's not the vote. Oh, because they're not counting vote. I see what you're saying. That's just how the voters are registered there. Oh, interesting. This is really cool. Yeah. So the link to this is in the chat. I really appreciate everybody hanging out and like sharing their work and, making stuff with us. That's like my favorite part, is like getting to solve problems with other people and, having the cool part about Observable is being able to fork stuff easily and like all the way since Tributary, that's what we've been really into, is this idea of like going off in different directions and like building on things and reincorporating them. So thanks everybody for hanging out. It's been an awesome night and another awesome stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for hosting. And we'll be back next Sunday.
Word. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take it easy.